Ryubix and Sam, and today we are here for another episode of our little podcast about international football or soccer based on where you live in the world. And today's episode for our big return is about the FIFA Women's World Cup that will start tomorrow in Australia and New Zealand. Welcome, Sam.
Hello.
How are you since last time we talked about international football?
I've been doing pretty good. I had to take a tiny bit of a break, but I'm ready to get back into it with the World Cup coming up.
Well, I could say the same. I took my time off watching the leagues finished in Europe, and now I'm back from my little break as well. And well, I'm also ready to make some predictions about the upcoming tournament ahead of us. Do you want to explain the format for the few people that might not know how the Women's World Cup works?
It's similar to the men's World Cup, um, before the men's changes in 2026, of course. There's 8 groups of 4 teams each, creating a total of 32 teams that have qualified through different means. Australia and New Zealand are co-hosting, and so they both did not have to qualify. I believe, yeah, New Zealand's in Group A and Australia is in Group B in this case. Um, and then the top two in each group goes on to the knockout rounds, which is starts in the round of 16, and then from there it's a single elimination up until the final and the third place games.
That's a good resume. So, as Sam explained right now, we'll start by predicting the group stage, where we will rank, each of us will rank the national teams from position 1 to position 4. And after we have done with the group stage, we'll just use our initial predictions and, of course, continue to predict with the knockout stage up to the final, which will be our final winner prediction. So let's start with Group A. I
Real
s-
quickly, do want to say so. I will have a blogger's predictions out. They were not quite ready by the time of this recording. Um, I will be getting those out and posting them underneath the video link here. So if you want to check out what the bloggers for the IFC server have predicted um, together, it'll be there. All
Then,
right,
do you want to start with Group A?
sure. Um, we can go. Do you want to go fourth to third, second, first, that order?
As you wish. I don't mind. We can swap at each group if needed.
That's fair. So I'm gonna have the Philippines last. Congrats to them for qualifying, but the Women's World Cup, or at least women's soccer in general, is still pretty new to the world, and so there's still a lot of not very many developed teams. So congrats for making it. They're not gonna do so well, I don't think.
I can't put the teams
Oh
in the
no.
position you wanted. You need to
Okay.
start with the first.
Okay, I have Norway first. Norway is, I think, the strongest side for sure. This is a very interesting group with New Zealand and Switzerland, but I think Norway's going to get it. Um, Speaking of Switzerland, I have second, and then it'll be New Zealand, then the Philippines.
Okay, so Group A. Okay, so for my part, I will agree with you, Sam. I will start off with Norway to top Group A because on paper I think they are the greatest side on this group, like you expected. I mean, I just have to mention Ada Egerberg, and we are assured that the Norwegian team will be a threat to the opposing defenses in the group
Yeah.
stage. But I'm kind of. I mean, I still think that New Zealand and no, Switzerland will take the second spot ahead of New Zealand, but maybe a very hard battle. I still think that Switzerland is also better on paper since they have most of the players competing in European leagues. But I feel New Zealand will not let them go without giving up a big fight
Oh,
because they
okay.
play at home, so they will have that home advantage and
Hmm.
their this spirit, you always see in the home teams in the World Cups. But yeah, I think they would have gotten some other teams maybe in that group, like Ireland, for example. I'm pretty sure they would have
Yeah.
gotten out.
Yeah, New Zealand can definitely get second in that group. I'm just thinking Switzerland's gonna make it.
Yeah, I think New Zealand will put a good fight, but they will not make it. And Philippines, as you said, are I'm very happy
Th-
they made their first World Cups, but they don't have
Yeah,
the level for the competition.
they're just gonna be happy to be here. They'll enjoy the experience. That's basically the big thing.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay,
Like the top,
so
like Brazil or Uruguay.
well,
Uh,
yeah. Okay, so I guess I'm the one doing Group B first.
sure.
Okay, so Group B, which is the other group with a home team, host team. Yeah, host. I was saying home for some reason. And unlike New Zealand, I feel like Australia will top the group because right now they are in very good shape. They won their few friendlies recently against England and France. And you can argue it's just friendlies, but it really shows that the team is ready for the competition against top teams. And usually, if you are ready against top teams, you also naturally are ready for the lower ones. Considering they have one of the best offensive players in the world, including Sam Kerr, which, as you remember, was elected twice as a Player of the Year in the English League. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Australia will be is able to grasp 9 points in the group stage at home. I totally feel that. And as a solid second, I will argue that Canada will pass through as another historical nation of women's soccer. So they totally have the weapons to pass through the group stage, despite the little clash with the federation, which might impact their overall performance. But I still think they are very good enough to make it through. Between Nigeria and Ireland, not confused, but I don't know what to pick for third place because Nigeria is an experienced team in the Women's World Cup, and even last time they made it to the final 16. But Ireland, despite being a new team that never played before, I feel like they have some unknown power, unknown shape. They can grasp a win against the Africans. I want to make a little surprise by putting Ireland as third place.
Okay. Um, so I actually have Canada first in the group. Yes, Australia is pretty strong, but Canada's also really strong, and it might be a little bit of bias on my part, knowing that I live just south of that country, anyways. But I do know a lot of the Canadian national team players better than I do the Australian ones, though I do know of Kerr. They're both very strong sides, so Australia's gonna be second. I just have them flip flop from you. I think that match between them is going to be the decider of who wins the group. To be honest, and then I actually agreed with you on the last two. So Ireland will be third, and then Nigeria will be fourth. European sides, especially in women's soccer, tend to be just a little bit stronger. That doesn't mean that the African sides can't be good, though. And I know Nigeria's a good team, but Ireland might, I think, will just squeak by.
Okay, then I guess we'll move to Group C with you.
Okay, Group C, I have Japan first. Japan's always been a strong side. They've won the Women's World Cup against the US before. I think they can get out of the group easily, especially that group. I've got Spain second. I think they're going to be the next closest for sure. They could. steal first from Japan, but I don't think they will. Um, and then we got, are those both new to the World Cup as well, both Costa Rica and Zambia?
Zambia is new to the World Cup, but not Costa Rica.
Okay. Well, I do have Zambia third and Costa Rican last.
Okay, so for my side of the bracket, um, I just swapped the top two teams. I put Spain first and Japan second. So we do agree on who qualifies, but not for the same reasons. Japan is still a strong side. One of the four that won the World Cup. And yeah, they still have a competent player, a very good league. And I think they made the semi-finals of the Asian Cup recently. But I feel like they are not on the same level that they were 10 years ago, you know. And while on the opposite, Spain really improved their game in those last 10 years with the professionalism of their league, with Barcelona winning two Champions League recently in women's, and how can I say, the growth on major players from Spain like Alexia Putellas and some others like Irene Paredes. So you can't sleep on Spain. Like I'm pretty sure they are becoming little by little a big powerhouse in women's football. That's why I'm putting them first. And for the last two teams, I'm like you, putting Zambia third and Costa Rica fourth. Because despite being newcomers, I'm pretty sure the African game is better than the Caribbean on average in both genders. So it may be a small argument, but I feel Zambia is better on paper than Costa Rica.
I hope you meant CONCACAF because Costa Rica is not Caribbean.
Oh yes, my bad. Yeah, Central and Caribbean basically outside. Well, CONCACAF outside of the big three from NA, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess I should start Group D. Group D is for me interesting in the sense that for me, there are three teams that are really capable to fight for qualification, you know. But I still put my money for England to top it. Like they are the European champions, you know, and they are in really good shape if you forgot the recent loss to Australia in friendlies. And I still think they have the squad and the depth to get out of that group heads up. But the second spot will be more. There will be a little more fight between China and Denmark. Like most people know, there are two historical sides of women football in recent years or in the past, and both totally have the weapons and arguments to make it true. But I feel like Denmark will is slightly better than the Asian champions, and maybe they will pass on like 1 point or maybe goal average. But I think we will see two Europeans making it out of the group. And of course, Haiti is the newcomers. Yeah, no, I don't see them doing anything in that group.
All right. I also have England first and Denmark second. The Nordic countries and the Scandinavian countries both do really really well in women's football, mostly because they've had more experience with women's football than most other nations. I think they've started their programs like really 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 early, similar to the U.S. and Canada. I could be wrong, but like Sweden, Denmark, Norway, they always have strong uh, sides when it comes to the Women's World Cup, and they have decent sides in the men's usually too. I mean, look at Holland and for Norway, for example. Um, I do, however, have Haiti third and China fourth.
That's a little surprise here for me.
So
Do you have a reason for that?
they just really impressed me in the qualification. Um, no, they didn't. Yeah, they had to. Didn't they beat Mexico in the qualifiers?
Now that you mentioned it, I think that was them. Yeah, Mexico got fourth in the CONCACAF Championship
Yeah,
in the group.
I think Haiti and I think Jamaica might have beaten them or at least drew with them
It
too.
was Jamaica and Haiti, yes.
Yeah, and they both made the World Cup. So, um, and I think Panama had to go through the last place qualifiers, right? It was Panama that had to do that.
Haiti as well. Haiti and Panama are two of the three teams that qualified through the intercontinental playoffs.
Okay, but I have Haiti third, China fourth. I just got really impressed by Haiti. Not that Mexico was really great because they didn't make the tournament like they're supposed to, but the fact that they did beat a strong side in their nation, in their confederation, really impressed me. And I think they can at least steal third place from China.
Well, I totally disagree with you for Haiti, but I can respect that. Maybe it will happen and I will look at them. I don't know. We will see that in a few days when it will happen.
All right,
Um,
Group E.
it's your time to start.
It's my group.
Yes, and so you
I
start.
have, and I have my country first. They're just really strong.
Of course, we'll
The
put USA
Netherlands,
first.
I have second, and then Portugal, and then Vietnam. Southeast Asia still has some work to do. Like I said, it's the Philippines' first time here. Thailand got battered by the U.S. in the last World Cup. What was it, 12-0 or 13-0 or something like that? So there's still some work to be done in Southeast Asia. Portugal always has a pretty good side. The Netherlands side is really strong. Has been really strong the last couple of cycles. But I think the U.S. is going to get it done again, at least in the group stage.
For Group 3, I will obviously start with USA. If we forget that they lost three games in a row in last autumn and winter, that was still friendlies, but it's still a shock that showcase that USA is not as good as they used to be in the last 8 years. They're
But
still a strong side.
weren't they using a B squad though?
I don't recall. I don't recall
I,
exactly. I think it was the
I,
A team.
okay, I can't remember either.
Yeah, but basically, even so, they seem to have left the foot a little off the ground, of the pedal. I'm pretty sure they are still one of the best sides in the World Cup. Hence why thinks like you, they will top Group E. Maybe not with 9 points, so maybe seven. But yeah, I can't wait for the game against the Netherlands that I also rank at second place. Like they also are not as good as in recent years, but they are still a good side you should not sleep on. And well, against USA, it's hard to get the first place anyway. So maybe a tough fight, but yeah, I also think of the same order. But for Portugal and Vietnam, both teams never made the World Cup before, so it's hard to judge on how they can play against such nations in their group. And they are also unlucky to face both of them in the same time. So there's a part of me that wants to. I'm like Vietnam is one of the best nations in Asia, like where there is Japan, China, so not bad sides. So I'm like maybe Vietnam is more able to play, but on the opposite side, even so, nobody knows many players from Portugal. I mean, they came from Europe, the best continent on average, of course. Since the women's game is a little different than the men's, but still, to get out of European qualifiers, you need to beat some good teams. And you know what? I wanted to put Vietnam first, but this time I'll put Portugal. Maybe it's more logical to put them since I have looked deeply into Vietnam squad, and it seems that they aren't prepare their preparation is not good enough for them to be able to do anything. Mostly due to the climate difference between New Zealand and Vietnam. there was multiple reports that said that the Vietnamese players have difficulties adapting to the New Zealand climate.
Hmm.
Should I move to Group F,
I
which is
think you
my group?
should.
Basically, it's funny because technically we have a chance to face each other in the round of 16, but as like you, I put my country first. Yeah, go France and Brazil second. Like, it's funny because you played the Netherlands last time in the final, and we played Brazil in the round of 16 4 years ago. So we both have a revenge to play on. But I still think my country will be able to at least be ahead of Brazil. Maybe we'll tie against them or win by 1 goal. But I'm pretty sure this match will be interesting to watch. And for the third place, I'm going for Jamaica over Panama because Jamaica for me are in very good shape, even for women's. And also in the CONCACAF Championship, they made the semis when Panama got out in the group stage. So yeah, I totally see Jamaica being better than Panama. And
All right.
one last note, I can't wait for that match to happen. Why? Because that's the first time ever we'll see two CONCACAF nation in the same group in the World Cup. It never happened before.
No, the only time you would see it was with Europe, just because of how many teams qualified.
Yeah, because yeah, Europe is no surprise, but any other continent it should not happen at all, but it still happened.
Yep. It happened because the committee didn't expect Panama to even make it to the World Cup through the second
It's
qualification,
also
whatever you
it's
want to call
also
it.
because they only took into account the confederation of the highest ranked team from each path, so that's
Yep.
why otherwise they would have made like it would have been complicated to predict every scenario.
Yep. But at least with this one, that was just how the rules worked out, and so it's still fair compared to what happened in one of the men's previous World Cup draws, where two South American teams were drawn. They didn't notice till a little bit after.
Yeah, that was weird. What are your picks?
I choose the exact same as you. Vive la France, right?
Yeah, right, totally.
Yeah, but yeah, I have the same as you. Just because Jamaica did make it farther than Panama in the CONCACAF qualifiers. The Panama did have to play their hearts out to make it to the World Cup. So, congrats, by the way, to Panama for doing that, for making it.
Yeah, I'm very
Hopefully, they
happy for
can have.
Panama, and I'm happy to see Jamaica once again.
Hopefully, Panama will have at least the same success, if not more, so than the men's team.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see that in a few days. But I'm really seeing that Jamaica is becoming, in recent days, becoming not a powerhouse, but they're really improving their quality with both men and women, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. All
It's
right.
your time, I guess.
Um, so I have Sweden first. Like I said, the Nordic countries and the Scandinavian countries do super well in women's football. And I think it's just because of how early they got the program started. Um, I have Italy second, just because European qualifying out of Europe is pretty difficult. Um, However, in saying that, so is Argentina is always a good side too, even in women's. I don't think they're as strong in the women's game as they are in the men's game. I have them third, by the way, Argentina. But um, they are still a somewhat decent side. And South Africa's not a bad side either. It's almost, I would almost call this the group of death if it wasn't for Sweden being there.
I can personally, I think it is a group of death because Group E
Over
is also hard,
over
but it's
over
it's
Group H.
yeah, Group H is no Group H for me is more of a group of life, personally.
Interesting. Okay.
But let's start with Group G from my POV. I can agree with you by putting Sweden first. They are an historical nation of the women football. They are very good players. Like,
They've won the World Cup, haven't they?
no, I think they made the final, so I have to
Hmm.
recheck. But Sweden never won the World Cup in women's. I
Okay.
know they have some good players like the defender Linda Sambrot in Juventus or Caroline Seger who plays in Ozengard. So very experienced players that could really bring the team far into the tournament. In second, I also pick Italy um, because I had to pick a team between Italy and Argentina, and Argentina is quite better recently, but I don't think they still have the level to make it to the next round. Italy is still better on paper for me. A decent squad that can pass at least one round, but yeah. But Argentina are really improving, and maybe in one or two World Cups they will reach the second round. And South Africa, it pinched me a bit to put them last, but I yeah the African champions will be. I don't think they have a good squad to make anything in this World Cup like last time. So yeah, I can't wait to see Group G, but I'm pretty sure the scenario will be the same as we both predicted. Let's finish with Group H. So I put Germany first, so I'm pretty sure most people will pick it as well because first they are one of the few countries that really started the women's game very early and not only early but also effectively since they
Yeah.
won two World Cups. I think it was in a row in the 2000s, something like that. I don't recall each many. I mean each years exactly they won. I think it was very early, so. And still, they were quite constant since they won like 8 Euros in a row before losing in 2017. But still, they made the semi-finals or the final in the Euro, so they are getting back as one of the most
Germany.
dominant sides.
Germany is also ranked second in the world behind the U.S. currently.
Oh, good point. So yeah, that backups what I'm trying to say. So they are back on track and probably one of the favorites to win the World Cup. So it's fair to put them at first place.
Sweden being third place, by the way, or third ranked.
Okay, so that means that if one of them slips up a bit, we can have the third and the second playing each other in the round of 16 then.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, very interesting. I just want to point out that for the second place, it's hard. Because as I said, for me, it's more of a group of life than a group of death outside of Germany. The three teams are good, but not among the best sides in the cup for in my POV. Uh, I think Morocco is out of the question. First, because they are newcomers, and I don't think they have the experience yet to be able to manage the World Cup group stage. While Colombia and Korea comes from multiple World Cup and major tournaments way before that. So I will pick Colombia. I feel they will got maybe by a little 1 point or on goal average. Colombia and Korea are quite on the same skill level for me, but a little advantage for Colombia. And I want
Okay.
to point out that all the four teams you see in Group H are the runners-up of the respective continental tournaments for women last year. Germany
Hmm.
runners lost in the final of the Euro, Colombia in the Copa America, Korea in the Asian Cup, and Morocco in the African Cup of Nations at home. So all those teams will still fight hard, I guess, for to as a revenge for what happened in the Continental Cups.
Right, and that leaves it up to me for my last one. I have Germany first. Big shock, total shock. Um,
Yeah, totally. I'm surprised you could do this. How could you do this?
I have Korea second, and then I have Morocco surprising and getting third. Um, I just Honestly, I don't know much about Morocco, nor do I know a lot about Colombia, but I think Morocco might surprise. I mean, Africa in general may not be the hardest confederation to get out of as far as World Cup qualifying for women's, unlike the men's, which can be extremely difficult. I mean, it's still difficult. Don't get me wrong, but the women's game is still developing there, so it's not as hard if you understand what I mean. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to have good teams. Like I think South Africa's a decent squad. They just end up getting unlucky with their draw. So I think Morocco might surprise and sneak in third place in the group.
Well, to be fair, Morocco could still pull a surprise for me. Like, we can agree that this group, we can have many scenarios. Uh, but yeah, at the end we have to make a choice, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
All right. So that brings us to the knockouts.
Exactly. If we go a little faster this time. Okay, so
Why don't you start since I started the groups?
yeah, fair enough. I don't think it's very visible on my side of the screen, but I think it's little corners. Oh, here we still see the flags. My first round of 16 match is Norway versus Japan, which is quite a good matchup actually. Both teams are very decent and are trying to get a second star. I think Norway is currently in better shape than Japan, so they might win this game by like 1 or 2 goals, something.
Do you think it could go into extra time or even knockouts?
It's a possibility actually. I see that both teams will play their game, but Norway will be better on in dominating the field on in some aspects. I think that will be mainly a domination aspects in the offensive part. I mean, based on the forwards.
Okay. For
USA.
me,
Oh, you wanted to
uh,
make my match by
yeah,
match. Sorry.
we might as well keep it match for match.
Okay, let's go. Let's do that.
So I have Spain over Norway. They're two European sides. They're both decently strong. Norway may be a little stronger historically, just due to them having their women's team more developed. But Spain is a decent squad, and they have some really decent players. And I think they'll just squeak out the win.
Nice.
Right, next I have the US and Italy. I think we both have the US and Italy. And yeah, I choose the US.
Well, no surprise for me either. USA will probably win that game 3-0. 3-0.
3
So
0. Okay.
yeah, I totally feel they will slam Italy for some reason. Like in the Euro, we won like 5-1 to Italy, so I'm pretty sure you'll do something like that as well.
I could see a 2-1 win with Italy just sneaking in a last minute goal, but nothing to like concern the US.
Well, to be fair, in the round of 16, Spain give you a hard time when they will unexpected you to roll them over. So yeah, I guess that's possible scenario too. Okay, so my third round of 16 is Spain versus Switzerland. As I said, I think Spain are getting on a very are really improving, so I'm pretty sure they will be way better than the Swiss side that are how can I say maybe average based on the world tournament. So yeah, I'll pick Spain to go to the round of 16. If I were to guess the score, I will pick 2-0 for Spain.
I've got Japan over Switzerland for the same reasons. I think Switzerland is it's a decent side, but they're still kind of developing. Japan has not only made a World Cup final, but they've won the World Cup final in penalties against the US. That's it's always a difficult um
Achievement.
just to beat the US, let alone or to even draw with the US in regular time, let alone beat them. So, and didn't they do that in Japan as well?
I know it was not in Japan, I think, and if I recall correctly, in 2015, so the tournament after that, they actually lost in the final to US. So they played two World Cup finals in a row, I think.
And they beat the US in penalties in one, and then they lost by like 1 goal in the second.
I think it was something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
But
have to
anyway,
recheck
they're
though.
they're they're always a decent squad, and yeah. So I just have them beating Switzerland.
So what do you pick for Sweden, Netherlands?
The Sweden versus Netherlands. I actually have the Netherlands beating Sweden.
Oh, interesting.
It's going to be a difficult matchup. I think. Let me double check. The Netherlands are actually ninth ranked versus Sweden being third ranked, so that's going to be a close matchup, anyways, just by rankings. But I think the Netherlands are going to try to prove that they have a good side. Unlike I don't remember where they ended up in the last World Cup. Was it the round of 16, or did they make it farther than that?
I think both of them played each other in the quarterfinals.
Okay, and then they lost to Sweden, right?
No, Netherlands won against Sweden, and Netherlands lost to you in the final.
Okay. Oh, that's right. They made it to the final. I was thinking it was Sweden that was in the final against the US.
No, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
Think of USA Netherlands in the group stage as the equivalent of Spain Netherlands in 2014,
Okay.
basically.
Okay. Well, I think they're going to beat Sweden again then.
Well, on my side, for the okay, so it's a second match. We have the same exact teams. Basically, I also agree that it will be in this scenario one of the best games to see in the round of 16. And to be fair, I think both teams could pass that round.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I think Sweden are on a really good shape right now. Um, I should remember they made the semis of the Euro last year, so that really proves they are one of the best and dominant sides in my continent, while Netherlands fall a bit behind. Even so, they are still a very good side to play. And I think that because they are in better shape, Switzerland will make it through. Not easily so, but I think they are better on paper. And we are totally on opposite directions here.
Yeah. All right. Who do you got next?
Okay, let's move down the second part of the table. Okay, so I have Australia versus Denmark. I think we are in the part where all the games are played in Australia or something. Uh, Let me look. Oh, I just noticed. I wasn't sure, but now I just noticed. They they divided the tournament the same way they did with Japan and Korea in 2002. They made two mini World Cups because you can replay the team from your group in the semis if you look.
Interesting.
So basically, I have a chance to reface Brazil once again in the semis. And so that means that teams that played in the other country, you can face them until the final or the third place. So we might
Hmm.
see two matchups happen this World Cup. I mean, happen again, I mean. My pick for Australia Denmark is obviously Australia. As I said in the group stage, they have one of the best forwards in the world, the best offense, and the fact they are at home will push them to their limits. And I totally see them doing wonders against Denmark, even though Denmark is a very good side by itself. But yeah, I give the advantage to the home team.
I have Canada versus Denmark.
Okay, so we both of us really don't like Legos today.
Yeah. Yep. It's just instead of Australia, it's Canada. All right. Next is France versus South Korea. I hate to break it to you, but this was my upset pick. I picked Korea over France.
Okay, it's over. I'm deleting the channel.
I just decided I you need at least one upset in the round of 16. And I couldn't really decide which one, so I chose that one. That was the big thing for me. Um, I mean, with Korea being, I have the rankings here, with South Korea being 17th ranked versus France being 5th ranked, that's definitely an upset.
But still a realistic one if we are based on world rankings, basically.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's it's hard for me to have that upset as a possibility, especially when my country beats them like 4-0 in the last World Cup in the opening game, I think. So, but hey, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I just hope it's not the case for me in reality.
I don't want to see it happen. I mean, it's cool to see upsets, but for your sake, I don't want it to happen either.
And on my side, I have also my country, France versus Colombia this time. I think it will be a difficult match because my country will always have difficulties against South Americans and Africans in general. So I'm pretty sure we will struggle a lot in this match, but we are still able to pass through and join Australia in the quarterfinals.
All right. So,
Okay, so England versus Canada, which is technically a rivalry in women football, since I don't know if we can recall that rivalry, but yeah. I think both sides have a good shot at the quarterfinals, but I'll pick England. I'll pick England. I think they are better in all sides, uh, all positions. I don't see them losing to Canada, but maybe conceding 1 or 2 goals. So
okay. So, as you were saying, the Sweden Netherlands match was going to be the best in the knockouts on your side. I think this England Australia match might be the best. It could be the one below that though too. Um, Especially since yeah, I do have Australia beating England just more because of the home field advantage, just because of how similar, how close they are as far as talent. I gave the edge to the home team. And that leaves me with Germany Brazil, one of the best matchups in either men's and women's. You're always going to get a good matchup between these two.
that's true.
I decided I'd go with Germany this time.
Well, on my side, I also pick Germany. Like both sides are very historical nations of the Women's World Cup. They were here, I think, every time because there's like 5 or 6 nations that made it to all World Cups, and Germany and Brazil are both among them. And yeah, maybe I was wrong earlier. Maybe my Sweden, Netherlands, or your England, Australia will be second or third picks for the round of 16. Yeah, Germany, Brazil, if it happens, will be the best matchup in the Euro 16. But yeah, for me, Germany is way better in nearly all positions. So I also see them going to the final eight.
All right. I guess I'll start since you started the last one.
Yes,
So my first matchup in the I almost said round of 16 again in the quarterfinals is Spain versus the United States. Ranked sixth versus ranked first, and I've got the U.S. winning that one. They're just a really strong side. Can't say much.
yeah, that's fair enough. On my end, I have Norway versus USA, and
Norway ranked 12th, by the way.
yeah, so they are still very good side as well. But yeah, I also pick USA to qualify, but not against the same European country. So I still confirm that USA one is still one of the best countries in the world, even so they are a little less performant as 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So now you've got Spain versus Sweden, it looks like, which is Spain is sixth, with Sweden being third ranked.
Actually, Spain and Sweden is probably my hardest matchup, and I don't remember what I chose yesterday. um, in my French video because I did a French recording for my French viewers. Uh, Part of me wants to put Spain to confirm my idea that Spain is very becoming better and better at football. I mean, women's football, but I still think Sweden is still that little better and will maybe go through on penalties against Spain.
Don't lie. It's just because you're still salty about the Spanish.
No, not no. Actually, no, not at all. I really think Sweden will win against Spain on penalties.
I was making a joke about your rival with Spain.
Yeah, but it's been a long time we haven't played each other, so I unlike some
I
countries
know.
like Argentina or Portugal, I can still be
It was a
objective.
joke.
I know, but I'm answering as well. I don't. Um,
So now it's my turn.
yes,
I've got Japan ranked 11th versus the Netherlands ranked 9th. The closest we've had in rankings yet.
that's
Oops.
true. Only 2 spots in difference. Wow.
And I have Japan winning it.
Yeah, so you see the rise of Japan once again.
Yep. I've got World War II next up. It's fine.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Canada and Korea, South Korea. Canada being ranked 7th, Korea ranked 17th, so 10 ranking difference. I have Canada.
You go.
Korea did really well beating France. They can't do it again.
Okay, so you see Korea going to the summit.
No, I have Canada.
Oh, okay. Okay, misunderstood. My bad.
Sorry. No, I said they. It was already a shock that they beat France. They're not going to be able to shock again,
Well,
and Canada's going to win.
beating France and going to the quarterfinals will be a very huge achievement for them.
Oh yeah.
But too bad they face the Canucks in quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you see two North American countries to the semis. Yeah, it's fair. It's decent. It's decent.
And then
Um,
so
Australia versus France. I don't know their rankings. What are they?
Australia is 10th, and France is 5th.
Okay, so 5 spots in difference, but both countries are in the top 10. Wonders. I still maybe it's the matchup. I mean, with Spain, Sweden, maybe it's the matchup I will struggle a lot because on one side we have Australia that I think are in very good shape. They play at home. They have very good, talented players at the front, and we have my country that is very talented as well. Have a good coach for once, Hervé Renard, that I should remember was the coach of Saudi Arabia in the last main World Cup, the one that beat Argentina. But for me, both countries could qualify for the semis, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Maybe cry like a little baby, since in the case Australia does, but yeah, for me, both countries can make it. I'm gonna be a little patriotic there, chauvinism, as we say, and I will put France, but it will be very tense match. I'm pretty sure it will be a tense match.
And that leaves us with your last matchup.
Yes, and England Germany will be very interesting.
Well, that's
Sin
going to be the most difficult one too,
Yeah,
ranking wise. So
very
England,
good
by the
matchup.
way, England, by the way, is ranked 4th. Germany is ranked 2nd.
So yes, podium basically. There is a podium. But yeah, it will be also a remake of the Euro final. But I still think England will win once again.
Okay.
We have your
That
Australia
brings us
versus Germany.
that brings us to the semis.
No, no, you have one more match to do.
Oh, I do have one more match. You're right. Excuse me.
You're
I
excused.
have Australia versus Germany, don't I? So I have 10th versus 2nd. I think Germany's going to get the better of them. I think that's where Australia's home run is going to end. And again, we have World War II. Good job, me.
Yeah, totally.
Oh
Okay,
my
so
gosh.
we are going to the semis, and for some reason I can't reach them. So the page don't want to let me reach. So I will have to put the whole. I will have to put the whole screen. I'm sorry. Okay, so basically, this is my page. Do I start or do you want to start the semis?
Um, why don't we start with yours since you have that up, and then you can just do your two semis in the final, and then I can do my two semis in the final,
Okay,
and we
so
can choose
for
a third place too if you want.
we can't do that in this in the page, but we can
Not
say it out loud.
that's what I meant.
For the first semi-final, I think, I mean, first of all, it's a very good matchup when you go to the
Yeah.
final four anyway.
Sweden is ranked third. The US is ranked first.
But I think that for some reason Sweden will make it through past USA. You can call that an upset if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think USA will stop at the semis and their streak in the Women's World Cup will stop there. Considering they made two World Cups wins in a row and semis the third time, you could argue it's still a very strong team. But
It's
I
still a
see,
medal. They still made a medal spot.
yes, basically. And Sweden will reach, I think, another World Cup final in women's. On the opposite side, I totally
France
see
and
my
England.
country failing there.
France is fifth. England is fourth.
Yeah, very good matchup, but we still aren't ready yet to win a trophy. And it's not our time yet, I think. Maybe
You're not going to win the double.
yeah, England are about to win the double. You are totally right. That's my pick. That for me it will become the fifth country to lift a Women's World Cup.
So the fourth ranked team will be the third ranked team. All right.
Yeah, exactly. And for the third place, I think you will beat my country. Like last time, you will take the bronze medal and we'll get home without any medal and tie our record in 2011. We were also fourth place.
All righty.
So let me pick your page. Uh, Let me pick your page and voila.
Okay. So the US versus Japan. That's an 11th ranked versus first ranked. I have Japan winning. I think they're gonna get revenge after their 1-0 loss in the finals. Not it wasn't the previous year; it was the year before, or the last World Cup before. They're gonna get revenge and beat the U.S., but this time it's gonna be in the semifinals. And I agree with you on the U.S. losing their gold medal um, game streak, I should say, though it's still vying for a medal.
It's still
Canada
fine.
versus Germany. So Canada's seventh, Germany's second. I have Canada, so I have two upsets.
Oh, okay. So two upsets in the semifinals. Okay, okay. Very interesting.
Ranking two upsets ranking wise, I should say.
Oh, my bad.
Because seventh, Canada's seventh, Germany's second. So that's not a huge. It's not like the 11th, the one that I did with Japan over the US. And
So,
then for my third place, so it'd be the US versus Germany. That's the US and Germany are 1 and 2 ranked, by the way. So 1 and 2 ranked nations are going to be playing off for the bronze medal, in my opinion. Oh, that's a really tough one. Um, I don't want to be that biased.
well, you made your country go to the semifinals and suddenly lost to Japan, so I can guess your bias is already fucked up already.
Oh man, that's fair.
I mean, both of us we look at each other and we're like, yeah, we're gonna top our groups, fuck the concurrency.
Oh man,
So,
you know what? My gut, as much as I want to say the U.S., my gut's saying Germany's gonna win in penalties.
yeah, that's a realistic scenario. I guess it will be if your scenario were to happen, I'm pretty sure the third place will be more attractive on TV sets than the actual final.
Anyways, yeah, possibly. And then we have Japan versus Canada for the final, and I have Canada winning it.
Oh, Canada.
So
Oh,
a little bit
World
of
Cup.
both,
Sorry.
English and French.
Uh,
Querete no
I
sai.
don't remember the exact lyrics in both English and French, so I will just be hated by the whole community. So I will not try. Maybe for the actual World Cup if they were to reach a final. So, but if Japan Canada were to reach a final, I don't know who to pick. To be honest with you, I will like to say Japan favorites, but Canada also have a good shot, and I really like their country and their football league. So yeah, it will be hard to pick.
Canada would be the favorites, ranking wise, 7th and 11th.
Yeah, but not a huge difference.
Not a huge difference, no. And with them being in completely different confederations, you'd never really know.
Okay, so technically, I guess your pick is more of a surprise compared to mine. Even so, both of them never won the World Cup. Okay, so in resume, my top three is, as I said, is England followed by Sweden, USA, and France as fourth place. So I pick a new team to win the World Cup from Europe, while you pick Canada, followed by Japan, Germany, and the United States. So, like me, you also pick a new country to lift the trophy. Do you have
Hmm.
anything else to say, Sam, before we leave each other and our dear followers?
Good luck to all the teams playing. Congrats on making it to the World Cup, and hope you at least enjoy the experience if you don't win it. As far as everybody watching, thanks for watching. Um, I know these videos can be really long, but some of you seem to like it a lot for whatever reason, and we appreciate that.
Yeah,
So,
we appreciate that you decide to suffer for 1 hour and watch us. We really appreciate that.
hour plus sometimes, yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And the link to the IFC Discord, that's the server I own that's dedicated to international football, so the Women's World Cup, Men's World Cup, and all the different confederational tournaments, including the Champions Leagues. Um, there will be a link in the description below for the Discord for that. And I will also add and reiterate, like I did in the beginning, I will have my bloggers' predictions up in that server too, if you wanted to see what we as a group decided um, it was going to win.
Well, thank you, Sam, again, and thank you to everyone. Have a good World Cup and a good summer, even so we are already at the middle of it. Uh, and well, see you in the next video for new international events and the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. See ya later!